Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a fishy when the boat comes in.
Morning all, Reggie Time here, and we're doing an impromptu little Sky video because we've got a situation that suits my approach to poker, where we're playing on Friday lunchtime on Sky. There's not a rig to be seen, well, not as far as I can tell anyway. And well, this Kobayashi, who, to be fair, I think he's the guy that's won about 8 million tournaments on Sky lately. So if you ever get around to watching the video, massive congratulations, sir, on that. I think he won 2 major tournaments in New Cops in a row, or whatever it's called, which is, even on a site like Sky, it's no mean feat. Absolutely mega congratulations. But apart from that, it looks like there's just a bunch of unknowns or flat out recreational players around. So hopefully we can just make a fun little video basically and enjoy ourselves. Not much going on here with the 9-7, but we do have some backdoor equity, and it's a pretty dry flop. If the king was a heart, I could have conceivably barreled off here, but it isn't, so don't think we're going to. Don't like just like randomly tripling off against unknowns. It wouldn't have been the worst spot to try it, I guess, but I'd rather just get to know a player a little bit first before we start spewing our ring up against them. I know these live play videos aren't always the most exciting, but I really don't have time to pick and choose when I make videos. It's like, I'm playing poker, the wife's not in, let's just make a video. That's kind of how it goes most of the time. So if this isn't to your taste, then I do apologise. There'll probably be something sooner or later that will be to your taste. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We can just instantly tag these guys a fish. I have no intention to monetize the channel ever. You'll never see videos on my channel. I know someone made a comment on the Skyphone the other day, Mumsy, who seems to have like the biggest chip on his or her shoulder ever. Possibly one of the most antagonistic fuckwits I've ever seen comment on things. He's just a weirdo, whoever it is, fucking fruitcake, who cares? But anyways, they were making some illusion that I'm not trying, that, you know, that I was bullshitting when they said they want to monetize the channel. Clearly they're off the fucking rocket and they're just wrong. No intention to do that. I'd just like to get to 1,000 just because it's a nice number. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. And please just hit the like and the share and the whatever else. Just hit all the buttons that will help grow the channel. Get involved in the chat. I typically respond to most comments unless they're just obnoxious or generally twattish, then I ignore them. I can be a twat, it's my channel. You can't be a twat. That's kind of how it works. So if I want to be a twat and slag Mumsy off, that's completely my prerogative. If Mumsy wants a right of reply, then she can have it in the chat below, but she'll likely get fucking ignored because I have no interest in anything she has to say. Or he. Well, obviously got a little bit of interest because I've kind of responded here, but yeah, typically couldn't give a fuck. We're going to try and make these videos a bit more light-hearted, not massively strat heavy, just me generally just rambling as I play, chatting about anything that I see or anything that comes to mind. It's always fun to needle the Sky rigs because they seem to bite like fuck. Ace Schooner, Poker King, Mumsy. Yeah. Oh, Mumsy there, you fucking are. Having a little nibble as usual. Doesn't often play cash games, probably because she's not good enough to, but we'll see how we get on. Let's see how we get on versus the mumsy. Make a quiz posted, so therefore we shall isolate with our ace jack. I expect them a 5 is good here most of the time on table 2. I mean, I guess the guy can have some deuces, who knows, ace deuce, etc. We can't really get much more value on the queen. And we just lose the 10s. There we go. The queen saved us some pennies. We'll take that queen. 6-4 suited in position. Bunch of green tags at the table. Let's see some flops. Let's try to see some flops. Nothing much to be said about the ace jack other than bye. Oh, we would have made the straight on the turn. But we're not calling pot-side dunk bets with just good shots and 2 overs. It's not going to be a way that's going to make us too rich. Giving up with the 6-4 suited. It's completely whiffed. Going to take a stab here with the king 6. An overcard, some backdoors. If he does call, I expect him to just fold quite a lot. Which he does. Going nowhere with the jack 3 off. I don't often use these buttons, but when it's something as trivial as that, then it's not too hard to do. Let the ace 10 go versus the middle position open from the only good player at the table. Well, Robot Dog is orange. Don't really know Robot Dog. God knows why he's tagged orange. There must be a reason why I've tagged him that way from the past. It's usually my tag for like moderate regulars and unknown, like people playing more than one table, until I can like make my mind up on them. But clearly he's not someone I've seen a lot of because I don't know very much about him, don't feel like I know him, but he's got a tag, so we'll try and learn something. Pocket 4s, let's try and see a flop again. There's way less squeezing on Sky than there is in the hyper aggressive, super tight, nitty, aggressive, hard to beat speed poker games. This guy seems to enjoy the pot size bet. Enjoys betting big. Now that doesn't mean anything just yet, but it's just something to make me aware that he likes placing big bets, because that could be important in some spots later on, whether I want to choose to slow play against him or fast play or whatever. And I might not see him again for who knows how long, so it's important to, if you're seeing someone unknowns potting it left, right and centre, it's just nice to know that that's their MO. We don't know what the fuck he's doing it with yet. That's our job to figure that out. But if we don't see him for a few weeks and he starts doing it again, then you've got to start learning him all over again. So we just collect little bits of information as we go, and hopefully eventually we'll piece them together into useful reads. Really want one of these green tag players to relieve Mumsy of some money. I'd like that. I think it's fun to have some nemesis at the table, as long as it doesn't affect your play. It's fun to have it, especially when you're playing a site like Sky, where it's like a smaller community, and there's occasionally bits and bobs of chat at the table. It's just fun. Some people take it way too seriously. Poker King is a fucking prime example of that. Takes it all way too personally. Ace Schooner's another one who takes the internet way, way, way too seriously. And Mumsy would be another one. And maybe a player called Jack35. Yeah. Serious business, the internet, to those guys. Very serious business. And it appears that I get right up their fucking noses, which, as someone who enjoys a bit of a troll from time to time, they don't realise just how pleased that makes me. When they're going to see them in the chat box, like trying to like get at me. They don't realise just how much pleasure I get from that. I genuinely do find it very amusing. If I can get under someone's skin and annoy them to the point where they start typing shite to me in the chat box, that's something that I enjoy a lot. I don't even type back most of the time either. I just enjoy watching them fucking rant. I might type something just to trigger a rant from them and then just sit back and enjoy it. Kind of like irritating people. It's one of my little cheeky hobbies that probably isn't a particularly great quality of mine, but fuck it, I enjoy it. And it's not hurting anybody. Oh fuck. That was just ridiculous. That was not meant to be a fold. That is Queen 6. I was distracted by someone going past my window. So I don't think I typically go around folding top pair, no kicker to a min bet, because I absolutely don't. That was just somebody walked past my window. I thought, oh, I know them, and then I just didn't know them and folded the wrong hand. Folded top pair, which is clearly fucking bonkers. He's going to stab here with the ace 6 because he might just fold, and we only have ace high. Trying to get to showdown with our 6s. Doubt the good, but I don't think he's going to fold anything better very often. Queen 7. Solid defend. That was a solid defense. Made even better by your complete refusal to bluff with it when I kept my range. Fucking tremendous. Now my son's messaging me on Facebook. Constant distractions everywhere. Distractions. I mean, I love my son, don't get me wrong. But I don't need him distracting me when we're in the middle of a hardcore grind session. Do not need it. Well, nevertheless, he's my son, and it's important that we keep lines of communication open for our future relationship, so I shall respond. Oops, then I just farted. Do apologise for that too. But, as Stuart Lee once said, there is nothing funnier than farting. So if that did come up, then if you did hear that, then I make no apology for it. If you're offended by it, then I think you probably need to lighten up a little bit. And if you found it funny, then great. Hope you enjoyed it. So shame there's no smell over the internet. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Set up a whole new set of like trolling opportunities. Top pair, no kicker. Start with a bet. Hope not to get raised, I guess. Shit turn card. We're going to be checking back and maybe calling smallish bets on non-red rivers. call up to like 160 here. Anything more than 160, then we're not going to call. I think we could bet for some very thin value from like ace 5, stuff like that, but I think it's maybe going to be a little bit too thin, so we'll just check back. We definitely probably could have got called by a queen too. I didn't even really consider. Well, yeah. I just think against that stack size, it really sucks when you get raised on the river. And fish will do that with, like, who knows what. So that was kind of weak, but top pair, not much of a kicker on a semi-coordinated board. It's never the sort of hand we're going to get super excited to play a massive pot with. Pump these jacks up. Let's pump the fuckers up. And then maybe, if Jonty calls and we get a favourable board like this, go for a big check raise against his pot size bet. I like that. I like the thought of check raising. Oh, Jonty, where's your fucking pot size bet at? That's disappointing. Kind of a fucked up spot now, really, when he bets that small. This has gone tits up. Guess it's just a check fold now, and because we can still beat like pocket 9s, pocket 10s, ace 7. Yeah, fuck that spot up. We could bet the river, but again, what do we get called by, really? What did he actually have? Play that first. We'll look back at this in a minute, make sure we're not missing any hands. Yeah, fucked that one up completely. Shit happens sometimes. He had king 5. We weren't getting value from king 5. Yeah. The plan there was check raise Jonty with his pot size bettage. Jonty did not comply, and then it made for a fucked up spot when my check raise got called and the turn put 4 to a straight out there. Maybe it was a bit too fancy, but we managed to get effectively 2 bets in with the check raise, and on that board texture getting 2 bets in with pocket jacks probably isn't too bad. Call 1C with the 8-7, see what happens on the turn. Pick up a gutter ball. We'll probably check call up to 90 pence. Anything more than that, we'll probably pitch it. Not paying the 180. That's way too expensive. I am buying what you're selling for that price, sir. Not happening. Oh, madam, whatever you are. Oh, Jonty with the big raise. Still not satisfactorily determined what he does this with yet. Oh, that's a bad turn. I'd looking forward to just maybe check calling him down there, but we're not going to be looking to put another £23.70 in at this spot. He's just going to bomb the turn and we're just going to fold it like a fucking wimp that we are. I mean, there's a reasonable chance he's just got fucking some weird random bluff here, but I'm sure we'll find better spots against him at some point. We've been 3-bet here, 2 10 blinds by a weak player. I think we can see a flop with a hand as strong as this. Wow, that's another big bet. Pot size bets are working well on Sky today. Which to be fair, it does make life pretty easy. If guys are like constantly just mashing the pot button. it's not the hardest thing to play against once you realise that they're doing it with a reasonably wide range. Or, well, if you can figure out what they're doing it with, what parts of the range you're doing it with, it becomes pretty damn easy to exploit. Pairing a good shot, backdoor flush draw. Seems like a good spot to bet. Continue betting the turn. Aces. Oh, Mumsy's raised as well. Come on, stack, Mumsy, stack, Mumsy, stack, Mumsy, stack, Mumsy, stack, Mumsy. That's the plan here. $9.99. What's your emergency? Don't get stacked by Mumsy, don't get stacked by Mumsy, don't get stacked by Mumsy. I guess we're all in on this turn. I guess we're all in. Never mind. Kind of hoping you said like jacks or queens or something there, and he or she just wasn't going to fold. Now the cat's come to fucking plague me. She's wanting to play. I think we can have the best hand here with the ace 10. We're probably going to call the river. Chop it up with the ace 8. So we think we can rule out pot size bets, and we can rule out, well, not rule them out, but start to consider that maybe he doesn't bluff with pot size bets. Then if that's the case, we need to figure out just how wide does he value bet with them, or does he like semi bluff with them. I think we can rule out air with his large bets. Sean Allen. He's a new rig on the block as far as I'm aware. He turned up when Sky were running that fucking idiotic promotion or dual promotion, where it just basically decided, oh, what a good idea it would be to flood the fucking cash lobbies with regulars. Regulars will think they're getting a good fucking deal. We'll just collect more rake than ever before and give them a little bit of a fucking bonus back. And like the good little sheep they are, they'll all buy into it and fucking make us richer. Well done, all the Sky Regs that got involved in that fucking madness. You fell right into the trap, and most of you probably didn't make any extra money through it. You made a little bit more rake back, but you ended up just grinding much tougher games for 4 weeks. Well done on being fucking numpties. The ones that made that, like, won the leagues and stuff, fair play. They probably did make some extra money. But all the guys that tried to get involved but finished in like the outside the top 10 places, then yeah, congratulations on being just a little bit stupid. Do I not like calling 4x opens with Queen Jack suited when someone's got no money, but it's just way too pretty, and now we're just going to check jam and probably give Rate an extra £7.50. But we might suck out. We just might suck out. Sometimes you just suck out, don't you? Oh, we're in front. Sucking out is not needed. We had no need to suck out there because Ray just couldn't fold the gut shot on the overs. Green. We've got some beautiful seas of green. Mumsy's fucked off. Don't think Mumsy liked getting overbet shoved on the turn on. Probably got to do some ironing or some shit like that. I don't know. Maybe you got the pot, wash the pots or something. A little bit of casual sexism there just to troll the Mumsy. Get back to the kitchen, Mumsy. Stay away from the poker tables. They're not for you. Hey, and it's got a really good stacks there, so just check ship on me here. So we're going to check back the tens, maybe call it over, but possibly not, and just check back now. And we guess we could try and bet to get some hero calls, some ace highs or middle pairs or whatever, but or king deuce, which seems like a reasonable float. Boo Boo. Was he Yogi Bear's friend? Was Boo Boo Yogi Bear's friend? That's the question. We'll have to Google that later. I guess we're just going to go bet shove here. Or just bet and he folds. Either works. Either works just fine for young Reggie. Boom, that's not a set. We have not flop sets. I wanted to flop sets. Seems a bit unfair that we didn't, but never mind. Boo boo. Here's my action. Here comes the night nurse. I wonder what it's a tribute to, night nurse. Is he or she actually a night nurse? Is it a tribute to the fucking disgusting medicine that we used to take as youngsters when we were feeling a bit under the weather? Or is it a tribute to the, I think, champion hurdle winner of the early to mid 80s? Let's Google that. Night nurse horse. What did it win? Night nurse horse. 1977 champ. Was it that far back? Is it a tribute to the 1977 champion hurdle winner? Or is it a tribute to... Is it a tribute to the medicine? Should we add a fourth table? Let's have a little look, see what's going on. It's a bit slow. We're a bit slow. We might add a fourth table off camera because at the minute there's no open tables, and then move into a 4 table in situation. It's a spin up table. Rather fucking. Oh, Mumsy's up, ran off to the spin. That's more your thing, Mumsy. Get to the spin up tables. Pay a fucking ton of rake, lovey. That's the way. Go on. Don't want to play full deep stacked anymore because I'm shit at poker. I just want to go and play spin ups and gamble. Gamble till the washing machine's finished its run. Then we'll have to go and pick the kids up from school and do everything that non-serious poker players do. There you go, Mumsy. That's more like it. You know, she's found a level. She's the $20 spin-up queen. Fair play to her. She's probably doing the right thing. Find something that she doesn't totally suck at, and then play that. You know, might make her money last longer. Who knows? Dry flop here with the ace queen. I think I'm going to double barrel here. I think he's going to maybe call once with like hands like pocket sevens, pocket sixes, and then maybe fold turns. If he's got a king, obviously he's not going to fold. But we bet twice here just to put massive pressure on all these small medium pairs, and then probably just give up rivers unless we improve. In tougher games, we would maybe want 3-bet hands like 6-8 suited versus regulars at open, but with all these like tons and tons of C's and C's of green around, there's no reason to like get involved in marginal spots against regulars because, well, there's just no fucking reason to, is there? Why go bashing your head against like the only other regular at all your tables and create a dynamic that doesn't need to be there when you can just hopefully sit and print against fishes? That's something that the fucking mildly cretinous Ace Gooner was criticised before at the table the other day. I'd left, but one of my friends of mine was still there. And he was, after I'd gone, he wasn't saying it when I was there because clearly he's a fucking whoever. I don't know what, I mean, I don't think it takes an awful lot of bravery to call someone out of the table over a keyboard, but he clearly didn't have the stones to do it. But when I'd gone, he decided to just completely slag me off, and part of that was like, oh, he doesn't want to play against regulars, he's a fucking... Well, of course I don't. Who the fuck goes to Sky to play against regulars? When I play against regulars, I just load up Party Poker or PokerStars or, to a lesser extent, Unibet. When I'm on Sky, there's only one thing I'm doing. That's trying to find some of the worst players imaginable and just make some easy money. And if you're on Sky and that's not your reason for being there, then, you know, and you'd consider yourself to be some kind of like semi-professional, professional poker player, then you're a fucking donut. If you actively like, oh, I'm just going to play every fucking table, I don't care how many regulars I play, and I'm going to actually have a much lower win rate and etc. And I'm afraid you're a numpty. Sky's all about finding the fish and exploiting the fuck out of them. You know, if you want to go and prove yourself, oh, look at me, I'm a fucking great poker player, then there's lots of ways to go and do that against much better players than Sky can provide to you. Yeah, so I'm afraid, Ace Gooner, you were just chatting shit. But I have eyes everywhere. I have eyes and ears all over the tables. People report back when these bad regulars spout shite. And Ace Gooner's one of the best ones at spouting shite. Seemingly when I'm not there, though. Good for him. Good for him. Right, Jack Queen here. Let's start off by betting. We get called in 2 spots, so we're going to need some help on the turn. We do not get. We pick up a little bit of equity, but I think at this point we're just going to check and try and see a cheap river if possible. If we're not afforded that luxury, then we're just going to fold, and then it just bricks out. so didn't work out. File this one under didn't work out. Anyway, we never got around to finding that fourth table, did we? Too busy ranting about Ace Schooner. And yet, of course, I'm going over the top of my criticisms of these moderate regulars. They're probably not even moderate regulars, but whatever. It's just fun. Don't take it too seriously. Take it with a pinch of salt. But please, and again, do take it seriously. If you're one of the guys that I'm commenting about and you want to take it seriously, then A, more fool you. B, thank you. C, please rant it with the table, because it gives me a quarter chunky. Puts a little bit of blood in it, which at my time of life is never the worst thing in the world. So yeah, please do feel free to get ridiculously over offended for no good reason, and give me it both barrels next time you see me, because I fucking love it. I love it. We've found a table. We have found a fourth table, so we'll play it. And we're going to just, there'll be probably miss a couple of hands whilst we set up the new table layout for the recorder. Okay, so we're back, and I should explain that we are playing 24 plus God knows how many, 34 hours later than what you've just been watching. When we paused to change the capture area, within a minute or so of my playing the 4 tables, my wife came home from work and I had to cut the recording, and I haven't been able to record. I played a few sessions since then, but I haven't been recording any of them since then. So now we've gone from playing like Friday lunch, well, dinner, well, I call it dinner anyway because I'm up north in England, lunch you guys might call it, but around midday, early afternoon Friday, to now 10 to 11 on a Saturday night. So we're in a completely different place to where we were just a few seconds ago in the video. Still got plenty of green kicking around though, which is nice. I think we can falter this. We can make quite an easy fold to Lordy. I'm going to share a conversation I had too in a moment with someone who I've known for a very long time with regards to poker. A conversation that we had over Skype just the other day. I didn't realise he had such a short stack. I would have just put him in on the flop if I was paying attention. So yeah, I was talking to someone. I haven't spoken to him for a little while. He's someone who's a better player than me, who I used to play with a while ago, who I used to work on my game with, and he's still watching my videos. I guess just as his way of kind of staying in touch with me or whatever. I don't really know. He doesn't watch them all, but he watches some. And he said he watched a video the other day. I think it was one of the 16 and all videos. I can't remember exactly. Play the King 10. And he just sent me the message in Skype. It was nothing other than what changed with about 5 question marks. And I was just I have no idea what he's talking about. We'll play our set of queens, then we'll continue with the tail. And so I just messaged him saying, I have no idea what you're talking about, kind of what are you referring to? And he's basically said in your game, he said in the game, the way you're playing, the types of videos you're making, he said back in whenever it would have been, 2016, 2015, said you were making videos, said you were upsetting regulars with your methods, with what you had to say about games and all these things, and the way people play in those games. And you pretty much said you just turned into one of them. It's like they've almost like your critics batter you down into like becoming one of them, which isn't true. That is not the reason why that's happened. But I think it raises a very interesting point of like just how far away I've moved away from the game that made me probably one of the highest win rates on Sky, and certainly as good a win rate as anybody in micro-stakes poker. And he made a very good point. My style has changed dramatically, and I'm not sure it's for the better, if I'm being completely honest. What do we do with these 2 aces? I think it's a bet small jobby and get called by worse. 2 overs backdoor flush draw. We're going to see a turn and probably give up. And you know what, I think I genuinely think he's kind of onto something. He isn't, but he is. No idea about this custarded. Never played with custard before in my life, so I don't know anything about how he plays. Think we can bet our ace for value now. Again, smallish. Try and get paid by pocket jacks, 10x, whatever. And I guess he's right in a way. To go back to the point, I know I'm kind of reiterating myself a little bit. My game has changed and it has become more standard, if you will. And I think I have a better understanding of what other people are doing now than I've ever had before. But I think I've put some things into my game that don't need to be there in the micro stakes, and especially don't need to be there when you're playing in like soft sites like Sky and what have you. And we're going to talk about some of those things throughout the video to go through, because I'm going to like take on board what you said, and I'm going to try and play more my old style during this video and explain the differences between what I used to do, what I have been doing, and what I'm going to try and start doing again. When like spots arise where I feel like there's 2 ways of approaching it, like the old way that I used to have and the more modern way, and just giving up with the 2 jacks against Tommy D. Sorry, with the king jack. So I expect he might have like a weak queen. Ace jack. It's unfortunate. If I'd known he had that, I would not have played the way I did. 5, 6, 7 here. We're going to try and play for all fuses stack, and if Uncle Tupelo decides that he wants to play for more, then we might have a tough decision on our hands. Still think we just have to go with it though, even if Uncle Tupelo does, or Uncle Tupelo does jam. That's not the best of turn cards, but I still think we can jam for value against Fusey. It's a lot thinner now, of course, but we don't want to see another like turn card come off that allows him to either bluff us on the river or completely kills our action. Like an 8 or a 3 or something like that. So yeah, he's kind of saying, like, obviously my 3-bet statistics come up specific, like significantly higher. It's like when I'm playing speed poker, it's up in the 9s and 10s. He's like, you used to be 4 and 5, he said, and you didn't care that it's exploitable because you didn't think you were getting exploited. So why do you all of a sudden think it needs to be higher? Why do you think why do you think you're being exploited all of a sudden? And I didn't really have a very good answer, especially when I'm playing on Sky and what have you. I think in speed poker you've got to be a little bit fitter than I was when or than I was in like 2015. I think you've got to have your game in leaner shape. But that again begs the question that he asked me of, why the fuck are you even playing those games? And it kind of boiled down to, well, they work best for YouTube. Those are the games people are playing and that I aim to work with. And he called me out on that as well. He said, well, no, he said, because don't you aim to work with recreational players who tend to play more on at the recreational sites and don't play that much speed poker? And so he pretty much pulled me. I think I'd got moved quite far away from where I was as a poker player, where I was as a content creator, where I was as a coach, where I was with the types of people I was intending to work with, all of those things. And he just called me out, basically, asked me a lot of questions that I didn't really have super good answers to. And he said, you've just turned into like a pretty boring standard regular. And he didn't understand why. He said, surely you're not making as much money as you were, which he's right, I wasn't. I just assumed that that was because games are getting tougher. My hourly rate certainly isn't as high now as it was in 2014, 2015. Now, I think there's an element of games getting tougher. Am I playing lower stakes than I was playing then? But also, I think he's right. He said he fully... I mean, it's hard to say when you're on Sky, but he was saying to me, I'm pretty sure your win rate's probably dropped too. I said, well, it's hard to say on Sky. He said, but it's certainly dropped on like Triple Eight and what have you. It's not as high as it once was. And again, he was more inclined to believe that's because my style has like changed for the worse in terms of I've now become a standard regular. He said, you used to be a non-standard regular that used to be like not really, like, used to play exploitatively, not being asked about being exploited. He said, now you're worried about being a bit more balanced, a bit more unexploitable, and he just basically said you're not as good for it. And you know what? I think he's right. I think I've gone too far down the wormhole of let's not be exploitable, let's be balanced, let's call things, we need to call with this part of my range, even when I'm pretty sure I'm beat. One thing he picked up on was, he said, you're calling way too often, or he said, it feels like you're making too many hero calls. He said, which look spectacular when they work, he said, but they also completely unnecessary. And I agree with him on that too. He's kind of just kicked my ass back into shape. And this is the guy who plays significantly higher. This is the guy who plays like 100nl, 200nl, and like plays 400nl on like soft sites. And he said even he plays in games where he's not that bothered about being unexploitable when he's playing on some of the softer sites and his game selecting. He said if he plays like in some tougher pools, which to be fair, he's not a fan of doing, but when he does, he fully accepts he needs to play a more like GTO based, balanced, whatever the fuck you want to call it, style. He said, but for the games I'm playing in, he said, you're just trying too hard. He said, just go back to doing what you did, which he said was be like and pretty nitty. He said, because obviously we all know that I am on the tighter side, pretty tight, pretty exploitable, not asked about being tight and exploitable, because we don't believe players are going to exploit us. Now, there'll be some games that will exploit us. I'd imagine there'll be some players in all pools, especially regulars, who will notice that I'm not doing certain things, or I'm doing not too much, but doing more of a certain thing than of another. And they may be able to cotton on and exploit me. But I'm not asked if one or two regulars figure out how to beat me and I don't make any money from them, because they're not going to make much money from me either. The only way they're going to be able to exploit me is not paying off my value bets at a higher frequency and by maybe making me overfold a little bit. Big deal. They're never going to win big pots off me due to for the exploits they've got on me. That's not how, when I get exploited by either not getting paid off or by being bluffed a little bit too often. And I'm not too asked about that. He just basically, we had a look through my database and had a little chat about that, and he said, look, I want you to do a few things. So I ran a few filters through him and that, and yeah, without any shadow of doubt, I've been paying off with, not way too much, but a little too much. I made quite a few dubious calls, and he said, you're losing more big pots now than he kind of thought I ever used to lose. Because he said what you're playing was always kind of just keep pots small as much as you can, and then look to bloat them in spots where you want to bloat them, either when you've got a massive drawing hand or you've got like a really strong made hand. I don't think Snowman's got a 4 here. I don't think he's got a 3 here. I think we're going to go for a small check raise. Which again, this is something that I wouldn't have been doing maybe a short while. And this might not work. He might just have a really strong hand. My read might be off and we might lose here. But in the past, I would just have been like just instantly double barreling there. And then kind of like being stuck on rivers when we don't improve. So he basically said that, you used to be really good at it. You just never lost big pots. He said you lost quite a lot of small pots, but you never lost big pots. And he said now you're losing, your ample share of them. Not too many, because obviously, I'm still doing okay. I'm still making money at poker. But he said you're not making as much as you should. He said you're just not playing as well as you were. So I took that on board because I have to, because he's a better player than I am. And yeah, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not going to worry about being criticised as much as maybe I have been. And my content going forward is going to be a bit more real's the wrong way of putting it, but it's going to be more of like my style again, rather than the style that kind of we all get pushed in, or not all, but some of us get pushed into playing through just like being active on forums, watching lots of videos. I have kind of morphed into a standard regular just because of the content I've been watching, and what I've been learning has been what everyone else has been learning, and so you're bound to like gravitate more towards the centre, which isn't necessarily always a good thing. If you're always doing what everyone else is doing, then you're kind of giving up some edge. So I'm giving up edge in some spots by being like exploited by some regulars who cotton on. But wow, he just falls there. But I think I'm going to make way more. And I'm glad I had the chat with him, because I genuinely believe it's given me a jolt. It's made me realise, you know what, you have turned into some like reg, rather than being the polarising character, yet high win rate player that I was just a couple of years ago. So yeah, you know who you are. Thank you for that. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the kick up the arse. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of my next few videos, because there's certainly going to be a lot less, I need to 3-bet bluff a lot here, I need to hero call here, my range needs to be doing this here. There'll be a lot less of that going on. It'll be a lot more of me just playing hands in a vacuum, very much like I used to do, and just making that the decision for what I want to do now with this particular hand, rather than what my range wants to be doing. I'm going to be stopping thinking in terms of ranges as much. I'm still going to be thinking about my opponent's ranges, but I'm not going to be thinking about what my entire range wants to do here. I'm going to be playing in a way of more what I want to be doing right now in a vacuum with this exact hand, while still obviously considering my opponent's range, because my opponent's range is still obviously really important. But worrying about what my range wants to do against Luxman, who might never see me again in his life. It doesn't matter what my range wants to do against Hiluxman. It doesn't matter one shite. What matters against High Luxman is, am I doing what's right for my hand exactly right now? So there's going to be a lot less trying to be balanced with my own ranges, and a lot more trying just playing exploitably and not being asked about being exploited. So that was quite a long ramble. So anyway, I've got that off my chest. Let's go. I think we're good here with the ace jack a lot of the time, and if we're not, I don't think we're going to get many folds. Wow, he just loves just folding. I like that. I like players that just open fold. It makes life a lot easier. This is a spot where in the past I might, in the recent past I might used to be like, you know what, it's one of my weaker aces, I'm just going to check it back. So I've got some ace X in my check back range. Not that I asked about that against an unknown. Probably just going to bet twice and check back the river. That's going to be the plan here. And also, man, you know, we need to stick at this table while this Hiluxman's here, don't we? I don't really want to play short-handed against a decent regular like Tommy D, but at the same time, if we got Hiluxman in the mix, then I'm sure he's going to more than compensate for my potential like lack of post-rake edge against Tommy D. I don't think Tommy D's better than me, but I don't think he's worse than me either. So therefore, if we're like playing each other without anyone else like providing some like rake relief, I think we have to call. I mean, he just gives up. I'm just going to fold it. You know what? He's just been giving up and keeping pots small so often. I mean, that's one of those spots where I think, like, I mean, in the past, I well, I need to call here. I've got this and I've got that and I've got blockers and this and that. But basically, the guy's just like played super passively and just conceded several pots to us. And all of a sudden, he wants to go potting it in a 3-bet pot with a board with 2 overcards on it. Albeit, I've got draws. But if I'm only playing to hit one of my draws, then I'm not getting the correct price when he pots it. So, yeah. Just make the fold. Be happy with it. This video might go on to be like a fucking incredibly long one now because I'm starting a session fresh and I've got a long time to go. Or I might just like do this for another 25 minutes or so to complement the first session and then capture a second recording. I think that might be a better idea actually. Yes, we'll probably play this video for another 10 minutes. I've got all that off my chest. And then go from there. We like turning the nuts. That's useful. We need to pot this so we can just jam the river. Good shot here against this fellow. He's going to peel and see a turn. He's giving us such a good price. We're hitting the nuts everywhere at the moment. Hopefully we can get some value for our hands. Certainly getting value on table 4, unless we're chopping. And we are certainly not chopping. That was an interesting play from Tufsy there, proving that he actually isn't very Tufsy to play against. Nice donation. We're looking to check call flops and turns here against Jack L and then make a decision on the river, unless we get like a really bad turn, kind of like a red high card or something. And we do get the red high card, so we're probably going to check fold this turn. It's a good bet, sir. It's a good bet. I don't know what to put in the water in Thetford, but I'd like a pint of it. I'm just going to fold. Just called with the ace king. I've been finding a lot recently on Sky that we're 3-betting just high cards out of position. It's just been making life really difficult because we just don't get many faults on Sky when we're playing in games with green tagged players, and then you just end up bloating a pot out of position. You're going to miss most of the time. The good boards are going to be the kind of boards you don't really want to be c-betting with green tag players. It all just got kind of messy. So I'm not saying I'm always not 3-betting. I mean, if there's like been a raise and multiple callers, then we'll squeeze in just to try and take it down pre-flop. But with my like 2 high cards now, I'm looking to either keep the pot small, play them post-flop, try to make top pair or better, or just making some big squeezes pre-flop, try to take it down, or get the pot heads up where our C bets are going to be like way more effective. I've been finding a lot. I've been 3-betting like limp, raise, I 3-bet, get 2 callers, ace king, flop comes down, 7-4 deuce, and C bet's not getting through. It's been, not only has it been frustrating, I think I'm guessing it's also been quite costly too. So I'm playing ace, my big ace hands and what have you, playing them much more like drawing hands rather than like made hands. Even though we know they're not made hands, I think there is a tendency to treat them as made hands because I think they're so strong. There was so much equity pre-flop, and to try and play them as made hands, and that's fine if you're looking to get it all in pre, or you think you're going to get it heads up a lot. But if we're not going to be getting it all in pre-flop, so therefore not realising all of our equity, then we're going to be out of position to multiple sticky players. Then I think 3-betting ace king, ace queen, king queen becomes much less of an exciting prospect. And maybe we'll just like, just to make sure we're not 3-betting too little, maybe we'll start like 3-betting down to like pocket nines. Something hands that we can like value bet well on low flops, because if we're not getting folds on 7-4 deuce boards with ace king, then that means we're going to be getting lots of value with hands like pocket nines that I previously wasn't 3-betting. So we're going to like slightly fiddle with our 3-bet ranges, and we're not going to be playing ace king for value as much pre-flop unless we're going to be able to put like big squeezes in. Excel's been doing a lot of limping. This guy's been doing a lot of weird sizing. Ace 5 is just going to be a fold. I'm not sure what Tommy D's min raising under the gun, but we might get to find out at some point in the future. Tempted to lead out here. I think we'll just check. All in with the kings, I think, versus that sizing. We can't think of another size that can make it where don't look committed. Jackal's not the sort of player who's going to 5-bet jam like anyway. So we just take the whatever it is, £6 that's out there now, hopefully. With him making it so big, like £4, I've got like £30 effective. I need to make like a cold 4-bet to like £8 or £9, and Jack L just isn't the type of player who's ever going to like 5-bet bluff jam over that. But he may well then peel with stuff that I'm going to be out of position against, and you know, if the dreaded ace pops or whatever, then it's supposed to be a tough spot. And there's lots of dead money out there already. There's like £6. Well, I'm not saying Jack L's £4 dead. There's plenty of money in the pot. I'm happy just to take it. I mean, if every time I got pocket kings I won £6, I'd be fucking delighted. I think it'd be a good result in the long term. Won 30 big blinds every time. What would that be? 3,000 big blinds, 100. I'll take that. I'll take that as a win rate with pocket kings. I mean, if he made it smaller, if he just made that like £3.30 or something. We could think about making it £7.50, but when he makes it £4.05, it's just whatever do they look strong. We could maybe think about calling, then just like check jamming, say flops, but yeah, we could just jump because we can certainly get called by worse. We can get called by pocket queens, ace king, maybe pocket jacks sometimes, maybe ace queen suited sometimes. So it's not like I'm always making him fold everything except aces. I think he can certainly stay involved with worse than aces there. There are some players that I would make a smaller raise against because I think they're spewy enough and live enough to try and make moves on me. But Jack L wouldn't be one of those guys. So this guy, squeeze. No, it wasn't a squeeze, was it? It was just 3-bet. Doesn't mean anything yet, but it just tells me that when he does make a 3-bet, it's capable of having hands like pocket 8 things. So then we can sometimes look to just 4-bet jam. 2 high cards, we can look to 4-bet jam hands like pocket 10s, pocket queens and things, if he's willing to get that sort of thing in pre-flop. Just useful to know. Yeah, we played half an hour of this second part of the session. I'm pretty sure the first part was like getting on for half an hour more. So we got, like, I'm pretty sure, confident we got an hour's content in with this video. So we're going to end the video here, and then the next video I make, unless something goes wrong, will be a continuation of this. Like the next video that I put out will be a continuation of this session. So hope you've all enjoyed it. If you got any comments about the change of direction that I'm taking, thanks for the conversation I had with the very old and trusted friend, then yeah, give us a shout, let me know what you think, and I'd be interested to hear your take on it. Bye for now.